Hello, everybody. Thank you for that brief break as we were getting started. But welcome. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining from. Welcome to today's presentation, Hobbies, Disconnect, and Reconnect. My name is Lexi. I am joined today by Emma and Leah, and we will be your presenters today for the final 2023 Strive monthly webinars. So to get started, have you ever felt like life was just moving at this supersonic speed with responsibilities piling up and schedules packed to the brim? It is a common experience, especially during this holiday season. But now think about the hobbies that you used to love or the activities that brought you joy. Unfortunately, during this chaos of life, they often take a back seat. But the exciting part is hobbies are like these little hidden treasures just waiting to be rediscovered again by you. And today we're going to explore how we can disconnect from that hustle and bustle and reconnect with those activities that bring us joy. But before we delve into the depths of hobbies and their impact, let's take a glance at some insights. So, how many people currently have a hobby that they practice on a regular basis? Well, according to a survey, 24% of respondents said they have at least one real hobby they practice on a regular basis. 20% said they don't have any hobbies. 66% said that hobbies are just too time consuming, as well as 66% saying they wish they had more time for hobbies in their life. And an overwhelming 74% of the overall respondents considered having hobbies to be an important for well-being. Now, different people have different hobbies. They can range from collecting antiques to card games and much more. And these pastimes can help us relax after a busy schedule, but they can also keep you fit and happy. So, what is the most favorite pastime among US consumers? With around 41%, cooking and baking is the most popular hobby in the United States, with other popular hobbies including reading, video gaming, outdoor activities, and traveling. And another popular hobby was simply hanging out with pets. And kind of said in the beginning, it's hard to consistently dedicate our time to a hobby. Our lives are a constant juggle of responsibilities. We have work, family, chores, which all demand our attention. And amidst this chaos, hobbies are the casualty. They go on the back burner. So, but it's a universal sentiment, the yearning to indulge in our passions while navigating the complexities of our daily commitments. So ask yourself, when was the last time that you truly indulged in something that you love? And when did you last feel that spark of excitement from a hobby? So as we move forward throughout this presentation, keep these questions in the back of your mind. How do we bridge the gap between the desire for hobbies and the reality of time constraints? And how do we tap into the benefits without feeling overwhelmed? So hobbies can be diverse and encompass a wide range of activities and are typically done during our leisure time and are not motivated by financial gain or external rewards. And by engaging in hobbies, they can contribute to each dimension of well-being. So starting with physical health, hobbies can be a gateway to a healthier lifestyle. So think of hiking, cycling, or gardening. They not only get us moving, but they can improve our cardiovascular health and flexibility. They can also be powerful stress busters. So painting, writing, crafting, that creative process stimulates our brain and provides an outlet for managing emotions. So think of hobbies like a therapeutic escape from the daily hustle. Now moving on to social well-being, hobbies can foster connections. So if you join a club or participate in a group activity, that provides a sense of community and belonging. So it's a chance to share these experiences. You can improve your communication skills and build lasting relationships. And hobbies like hiking, bird watching, or gardening can connect us with nature and foster an awareness of the environment around us. So it's a reminder of our place in the natural world and the importance of preserving it. And then moving on to occupational well-being, hobbies aren't just about leisure. They can contribute to our professional lives too. So skill development and a balanced work-life ratio are just a couple of ways hobbies enhance our overall occupational well-being. And if you have a job that's very analytical, if you have a hobby that leans into more of the creative side, that can support you to perform better within your profession. And for spiritual health, hobbies like meditation, prayer, or journaling provide moments of reflection and contribute to spiritual growth. And they can help us find meaning and purpose in our lives. And if you are concerned about costs, many hobbies are quite affordable. So engaging in cost-effective activities ensures that our pursuit of well-being doesn't break the bank and contributes positively to our financial well-being. And then for the last dimension of wellness, intellectual well-being, hobbies promote that continuous learning and cognitive benefits, whether it's learning new skill or diving into intellectual stimulating activities. They keep our minds sharp and engaged. And hobbies, they're not just pastimes. And as we just went over, they are powerful contributors to our overall well being. And they are a personal choice that reflects an individual's interest and passions and provide an opportunity for relaxation, self discovery, personal enjoyment, and the development of skills or the exploration of new interests outside of one's professional or academic obligations. So, what happens if we neglect our hobbies? When we sideline hobbies, we often lose touch with a part of ourselves. Hobbies are more than just pastimes, they're reflections of our interests, passions, and personalities. They contribute to our sense of identity and help us connect with what truly makes us unique. They can offer a break from stress as a chance to step away from work or obligations, allowing us to recharge and refocus our minds. And this break is crucial for maintaining mental resilience and preventing burnout. As said from the last slide, they can be that creative outlet. Painting, writing, playing music, learning a new language, or gardening, they offer a space where we can express ourselves freely. And this creative expression is essential for that mental stimulation and personal growth. And among many more things, ignoring hobbies means missing out on the opportunity to explore and cultivate our passions. These activities allow us to discover new interests, learn new skills, and broaden our horizons, contributing to that personal development and fulfillment. Again, hobbies aren't just hobbies. They're integral parts of our lives that contribute to our well-being, self-expression, and personal growth. And ignoring them can have far-reaching effects on our mental and emotional health, emphasizing the importance of actively nurturing and prioritizing these activities. I'm now going to hand this off to Leah.
Thank you, Lexi. So, while the benefits and impacts of hobbies on our well being are undeniable, the reality is that investing time in our passions or starting new ones comes with its own set of challenges. Let's explore some common hurdles many of us may face when trying to carve out time for hobbies. First, many of us may have limited free time, which imposes a significant challenge. Our bustling work schedules, coupled with our personal commitments, often leave us with little time to spare. Finding a substantial chunk of time for hobbies can be a struggle in itself. Secondly, many of us struggle with a lack of energy after a demanding day. Summoning the motivation and energy to engage in hobbies might seem like an uphill battle. The exhaustion from work or personal obligations can make it challenging to dive into hobbies that require a lot of mental or physical effort. Let's not overlook the difficulty in prioritizing hobbies. As mentioned earlier, hobbies frequently take a back seat to the pressing responsibilities and obligations that fill our days. Making room for hobbies often requires a conscious effort to rearrange priorities. These challenges are familiar to too many of us, and they pose significant barriers to rekindling our hobbies or starting new ones. Now, let's look into some strategies to overcome these challenges and rediscover your hobbies. Rekindling with a hobby often starts with revisiting the reasons it brought you joy in the first place. Think back to the moments when you were engrossed in your hobby. Reflect on the joy, contentment, and fulfillment it brought you. Remember the satisfaction, learning, or simply indulging in something you love. By recalling these positive emotions, you're essentially rediscovering your passion. This helps reignite the emotional connection you once had with your hobby. These memories act as a powerful motivational tool. They remind you of the intrinsic value of your hobby and that it held for you, propelling you to re-engage with it. By remembering the joy, we not only reconnect with our hobbies, but often reignite the passion and motivation needed to make them an integral part of our lives as they once were. Understanding the reasons behind losing touch with your hobby and identifying those obstacles is also an integral step towards reintegration of your hobby. Identifying the obstacles offers insight into what caused the disconnection. It could be time constraints, lifestyle changes, personal challenges, or even a loss of interest due to external factors. By pinpointing these obstacles, you're addressing the root causes. This awareness empowers you to tackle them more effectively, gradually eliminating or mitigating these barriers. Life circumstances might have changed since you last engaged in your hobby. Identifying these changes helps in adapting your approach to align with your current lifestyle and current commitments. Sometimes the reason for losing touch with a hobby reflects shifting priorities. Identifying these shifts helps in reassessing and realigning your priorities to include your hobby once again. As you work on eliminating these obstacles, it becomes easier to reintegrate your hobby into your life. Each obstacle addressed brings you closer and closer to a smoother reconnection. Often, the fear of not being perfect or the intimidation of starting something new holds us back from embracing hobbies. However, it's important to remember that the journey of exploring a hobby is about enjoyment, growth, and personal expression, not about achieving perfection. Once you're able to remember the joy you felt in engaging with your hobby and you've identified barriers to re-engagement or discovering new hobbies, it's important to set aside a dedicated amount of time for your hobbies. By scheduling specific time slots for your hobbies, you're establishing their importance in your life. It's about consciously allocating time and recognizing that your passions deserve a place among all of your priorities. Commitment and consistency are also key to re-engaging in your hobbies. Treating this time as non-negotiable establishes a commitment to your hobby. Just as you wouldn't cancel an important appointment, this dedicated time signifies your commitment to nurturing your passion consistently. Having a set schedule holds you accountable for dedicating time to your hobby. It eliminates the excuse of not finding time and reinforces the idea that your passion deserves regular attention. Ultimately, scheduling time for hobbies is an act of self-care. It's an investment in your mental and emotional well-being, providing a source of fulfillment and joy in your life. By prioritizing and scheduling dedicated time for our hobbies, we not only create a space for our passions, but also affirm their significance in our lives, fostering consistency and fulfillment. Now I will hand it over to Emma to explore a few more ways to rediscover your hobbies and overcome these challenges.
Thank you, Leah. So on this slide, we're going to be talking about breaking it down. So dividing your hobbies into smaller, manageable tasks is a powerful approach to rekindling that passion. A lot of us say that we don't have time for our hobbies or our interests, but that's based on limits that we put on ourselves and our own expectations, right? So for example, playing the piano doesn't have to take an hour a day. It can just be 10 minutes a day. Breaking hobbies into smaller tasks also enables us to fit them into shorter available time slots that we have throughout the day. And that means flexibility. So we can adjust these tasks based on available time or how much energy we have. And this ensures that we can engage with our hobbies even during those busy or challenging periods. This approach also accommodates busy schedules by making it easier to engage even in those limited time pockets. Now let's talk about a little bit about progress through incremental steps. So every small task completed contributes to overall progress, right? Even a few minutes spent on a task moves you forward, maintaining momentum and preventing that feeling of stagnation or just sitting still. Large, complex hobbies might seem daunting and overwhelming, leading to procrastination. For example, if you do woodworking and your goal is to build a wardrobe, that can seem really overwhelming. That's a big piece of furniture, but we can break this down, right? So breaking it down simplifies the process, makes it seem less intimidating and more approachable. So think of baking a cake. So although it's common to bake a cake all in one go, and it might take several hours, you don't have to do it this way. You could make the batter, wait an hour, bake it, let the cake cool. You could put the cake in the fridge or the freezer for a few hours or days. You could make the frosting at a later time, keep it, and you can even decorate the cake days after you bake it. It doesn't have to be made all at once, and this mindset can apply to many other hobbies or tasks. Additionally, those smaller tasks allow for clearer goal setting. So each task completed becomes a milestone, offering a sense of accomplishment and motivation to move on to the next step. All right, so incorporating hobbies into the daily routines goes beyond kind of just creating those allocated time slots. We can also use those kind of unused time slots. So daily routines often include moments that go underutilized, like during our daily commutes or during breaks. Integrating hobbies during these times maximizes productivity and also ensures regular engagement. For example, you could use your lunch break to engage in a hobby. You could bring a book for reading, do a quick workout, practice a language with an app, or take a walk with a camera if you want to take some pictures, do photography. You can also listen to audiobooks, podcasts, language lessons, or playlists related to your interests during your commute. Integrating hobbies into breaks or into these commutes also helps offer a mental escape. It can be really refreshing to the mind and can help provide a break from those routine tasks, which can also help in reducing stress levels. Moments that might otherwise be considered downtime become opportunities for hobby engagement. Now, obviously, it's okay to simply rest and do nothing because that is also important for our health. Not every minute of our day has to be productive. But utilizing these intervals can add value and purpose to the otherwise idle moments. So for example, replace some screen time, some scrolling with hobbies instead. So instead of sitting down, looking at your phone for 30 minutes, you can turn to a hobby like painting, knitting, practicing a musical instrument. Now, another strategy is to combine hobbies with other tasks. So for instance, listening to podcasts while you're cooking, practicing mindfulness while you're gardening, or doing body weight exercises while watching TV. You can also modify your workspace to incorporate elements of your hobby. For example, if you love plants and taking care of houseplants is a hobby of yours, you can add small indoor plants to your desk, or if you're into art, you can display your artwork around your workspace. You can also use hobbies as a wind down routine before bed. So depending on what your interests are, this can include reading, gentle yoga, meditation, or a relaxing craft that can help ease you into sleep. But just remember, the key is to find those moments in your daily life where hobbies can naturally fit without overwhelming your schedule. These kind of creative integrations not only maximize that hobby time, but also infuse your routine with moments of joy and fulfillment. Now, if you're looking for a hobby and you don't know where to start, we have just a few suggestions. These might seem obvious, but really popular, but they are that way for a reason. So painting with watercolors is a relaxing and creative hobby that also requires minimal supplies. So you can start with a basic set of watercolor paints, brushes, and paper, and it's a great way to express your creativity and unwind after a long day. Now, if you're looking to do something musical, playing guitar is a fulfilling and rewarding hobby that can be fairly easily picked up. So there's tons of online tutorials and resources and videos, and you can learn at your own pace. Remember, you don't have to practice for an hour a day. It can be 10 minutes a day. All you need is a guitar and some dedication. So it's a great way to relax. And once you have enough practice, you can start to express yourself through music. Lastly, if you have decent weather and some dirt, gardening is a therapeutic and fulfilling hobby that can be pursued even with limited space. So whether you have a small balcony or a backyard, or even if you just have a window that gets good light, you can grow plants and flowers. This is a great way to connect with nature and also just enjoy the beauty of plants. Now, to start wrapping us up for this presentation, we do have this reflection question. So I want you to take a moment and think on the following question. What is one hobby or passion that you used to love or that you always wanted to get into, but it eventually just got sidelined? And a follow-up question, what steps can you take this week or in the coming weeks to reconnect with that hobby or that passion? Now, there are a few resources that we're going to suggest. So first, we have this podcast called Hobby of a Lifestyle. And in this podcast, they talk to athletes, musicians, artists, about how they've been able to translate their hobbies into careers. We have a blog over also on this slide, and it's called A Cultivated Nest. And this is a blog covering gardening, DIY, crafts, all kinds of different hobbies that can help your mind, body, and soul. If you don't know where to start with a hobby or you want to pick up a new hobby, you can always check out local resources like community centers, adult education classes, the library, and the local newspaper for information, like I said, on classes, workshops, groups, clubs, and more. You might be surprised at what's already out there for you to join. And with that, I will wrap us up. Thank you for joining us very much today. Join us on January 31st, 2024, a brand new year from noon to 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In our first presentation of 2024, we're going to be talking strategies for designing our year using the 8 dimensions of well-being. And finally, from everyone here at Kapnick Drive, we wish you a happy, healthy holidays. Thank you for joining and see you next year.